The LinkedIn Open to Work photo frame. A topic almost as divisive as, well, everything nowadays. In this video, I'm going to go over the differences between being open to work to recruiters only versus being open to work to everyone with the green photo frame. I'll also talk about potential pros and cons of using the frame, as well as exclusive insights from a number of amazing recruiters and hiring managers who were so nice to let me bother them. By the end of this video, you're gonna know everything you need to know whether to slap that photo frame around your diabolically handsome or wildly beautiful face. Let's get into it. First, I need you to understand what it means to be open to work on LinkedIn, like I need a newborn baby to know how to eat its food. At the moment, there are two options in your settings to be open to work. The first is open to work to recruiters only without the photo frame. The second is open to work to everyone with the photo frame. There are big differences and implications for choosing one over the other, so pay attention to this as if you took a 40 milligram Adderall.
How much Adderall are you on?
Open to work recruiters only without the photo frame means that your job seeking preferences will only be shown to those on LinkedIn who are using a LinkedIn recruiter account. These are premium accounts that either individuals or companies pay for to help them search, find, and contact potential job seekers in one interface. LinkedIn Recruiter is the Liam Neeson of LinkedIn premium accounts.
I will find you.
But when you're open to work to recruiters only, LinkedIn does their best to shield your profile from anyone at your current company who has a LinkedIn recruiter account, so they don't know that you're looking. Having said that, there are a few variables involved worth mentioning. One, there are multiple types of recruiters, whether in-house or agency recruiters, that have a varying set of motivations or perspectives when they're reaching out to you about specific positions. Two, there are different versions of LinkedIn Recruiter with a range of features and functionalities that vary in cost from about $120 per month for the light version up to over $800 per month for the corporate version. Last but not least, not all talent professionals or recruiters on LinkedIn have access to any version of LinkedIn Recruiter, mostly because it's expensive or their hiring needs don't justify it. I tell you all this not to confuse you, but just so that you understand the discrepancies involved in who may or may not be able to see that you're looking for work if you select this option. A number of the recruiters that I spoke to for this particular video who have access to LinkedIn Recruiter mentioned that the photo frame for them didn't matter at all. Ray Marks, the founder of the tech recruiting firm Marks Connect, said, "With LinkedIn Recruiter, I search for candidates that have toggled on their open to work unrelated to the photo frame. I believe the photo frame is purely for aesthetic purposes, but it's not something that I can look for or search for." Jasmine Turner, a technical sourcer at Docusign, said, "I start off my initial search with open to work candidates because they're more likely to respond, but you don't have to have it on your LinkedIn profile photo. No one pays attention to that." Now let's talk about the other option, which is open to work to everyone. The open to work to everyone with the photo frame is pretty self-explanatory. When you click on that, a little green circle appears around your head. And now everyone on LinkedIn knows you're looking for work. It will also prompt you to post on LinkedIn with a generic "I'm looking for work" type of post. Before we go any further, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. In July of 2020, I created an initial video about this topic, heavily opposing the LinkedIn Open to Work photo frame. This video has over 40,000 views, a 91% like ratio, and hundreds of supportive comments, but understandably, it also caused a stir because it was polarizing and counterintuitive, and many other people did not agree with what I was saying. To give more context, it was around the peak of the pandemic that LinkedIn came out with this feature that gave the ability for people to tell everyone they were looking for work, and naturally, it seemed like a good idea for many people. But here was the issue that I had with it, and to be honest, I didn't do the best job in my last video clarifying this point. I saw job seekers, left and right, rush to put up their photo frames, fill out their headlines with seeking new opportunities, and use the genericized post to ask their network for help, all without consideration to how their profile looked, how specific they were in articulating their value, and how they actually needed to help their network and recruiters understand what they were looking for. They slapped the frame on there like a flapjack on a griddle, all while sitting back and just waiting for the phone to start ringing. I'm not saying everyone did this, but many people did. And my main concern for job seekers is the faulty thinking that availability is their selling point, or being open to work is their value, instead of their actual tangible skills and the benefits they could provide to an organization. Especially when I made the last video in mid-2020 during record unemployment, the act of leading with being open to work as your value point essentially commoditized you during an extremely difficult job market. Yes, being able to be found is important. Yes, telling your network specifically what you're looking for in a job is important. And yes, working with recruiters is beneficial in many cases. As far as being open to work to everyone, I've been able to take feedback I received on the last video, watch the shift into a candidate-driven market, and seen evidence that caused me to want to remake this video to provide a more complete scope of information. As a coach in this industry, I talk to job seekers, recruiters, other coaches, HR managers, and professionals from all walks of life every day to gain perspective on things that happen. I have to have an open mind to what's working and what's not.
Open your mind.
As someone who started in 2020 extremely opposed to the photo frame and the idea of being open to everyone, I've softened my stance a bit with time because I've seen many job seekers, especially recently, use the photo frame with success. Now, there's still reasons I think you should be very cautious of using the photo frame, which I'll discuss in a bit, but I want to talk to you about why you might want to choose the photo frame and the factors that are crucially important in its success if you do choose it. To set the stage, the job market today is radically different than it was 2 years ago. We're in a candidates market, as I've mentioned, as a result of the adoption of remote work, the recovery in the economy, and the Great Resignation. Many stigmas that plague the job market have seemed to wither away. The unemployment rate in the US is down to 3.8% compared to the peak of COVID, which was almost 15%. Because so many people were either affected by job loss or knew someone close to them who was, the world just seems to be more empathetic and helpful when it comes to the job market. The nature of the community on LinkedIn has never been stronger in helping job seekers. And this photo frame can be a way for you to receive that help from others if you're intentional with how you use it, you've optimized your profile, and you do a good job of articulating your value. Nicole Fernandez, a recruiter at Wix, noted, "When I'm scrolling through LinkedIn, folks with a green banner stand out, and I'm often drawn to check out their profile to see if it's a fit for any of my roles. In my day-to-day, I'm mostly working in the ATS system and headhunting on the back end of LinkedIn, so the photo frame becomes less relevant." Some early statistics in 2020 from LinkedIn also showed positive results from the photo frame when it comes to the likeliness of receiving messages from your network. But beyond that, the really cool shift I've seen in the past 2 years is that many people are now comfortable doing their job search very publicly. JD Alex, a talent researcher and technical sourcer at Stripe, echoes this sentiment. He says, "I love the open to work photo frame. It makes my job easier, and it's just one more tool to use as a job seeker when searching for a job." I don't know why there are so much pushback from all the career coaches and influencers about the subject.
Oh, shots fired! Oh!
Ouch, JD. Honestly, JD is someone who I highly respect on LinkedIn, and listening to his opinion was actually one of the reasons I wanted to remake this video. He did also share that when people are looking for work and using the frame, it can't end there. And from my observation, folks using the photo frame that seem to be having the most success are those who are posting very specifically about what they want, and they often have an in-demand role. That creates a dynamic where they have companies and their network lining up in the comment section of their posts to help them get connected to new opportunities. It doesn't mean it won't help you if that doesn't sound like you or if you don't post on LinkedIn. But my point is, again, just flashing on your open to work frame isn't necessarily the causation of success in your search. It's likely a part of a mix with other high leverage job searching activities like networking or personal branding. I've still been unable to find any conclusive stats comparing the success of those open to work to recruiters only versus those open to work to everyone, so there's still a lot of nuance in this discussion. How the open to work photo frame might work against you. Now, I mentioned I was going to discuss a few reasons to be cautious about the photo frame, so here they are so you can decide for yourself. First, the obvious one, if you don't want your current employer to find out you're job searching, the photo frame would make sure that you're gonna have a bad time.
You French fry when you pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Number two, since LinkedIn Recruiter has the barrier of entry with its cost, it can help legitimize the people that are reaching out to you. If you're open to work to everyone, you do open up your job seeking preferences to potential scammers and spammers. A Better Business Bureau study on fake job scams reports that an estimated 14 million people are exposed every year to employment scams, with 2 billion in direct losses annually. So always confirm the legitimacy of people who are reaching out to you with job offers. And I'm gonna leave a video at the top. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be about avoiding work from home job scams. You can save that to watch for later. Number 3, if your profile isn't optimized, it can get you the wrong type of attention or confuse people. Making sure your profile is well articulated before you turn on the photo frame, if you decide to do it, is a must. Number 4, the last one, is bias. And while many of these I will mention have changed for the better recently, there are multiple levels of bias that are sometimes unconscious for others, both in your network and with recruiters. With bias in your network, think about it like this. When you reach out to someone in your network, say a friend that you haven't talked to in years, and you have the photo frame on, their automatic assumption might be that you're gonna ask them for a favor. That's not the worst thing that can happen, but it does potentially put you in a perceived lesser position of leverage in your interactions because you're wanting something from people.
Help me.
And yes, we want to believe that everyone we reach out to is going to be helpful, but sometimes it might feel as if you're only reaching out to people because you want something from them. And having that photo frame can actually impact how people respond to you. Having said that, it can also be the reverse, and people could be reacting positively and be willing to help because they do know that you're looking. Recruiter bias. Now, bias with recruiters might center around their desire for passive candidates. Those using LinkedIn Recruiter have the advantage of seeing open to work candidates that the normal LinkedIn user can't, which makes them valuable. For example, if an agency recruiter is hiring for a company and they're submitting candidates, their ability to access candidates only open to recruiters can be a selling point of their services to a company who doesn't have a LinkedIn Recruiter account. So they may have an actual incentive to select candidates who aren't as public that their client couldn't already just see for themselves. Niki Woodall, a data engineering recruiter at Meta, said she's overall neutral but leans towards not being a fan of the profile photo. It does give off a subconscious vibe of desperation somehow, is what she said, but she won't disqualify for it because she is aware of that potential bias. She also goes on to say that top performers typically don't have to use it to get work. Adam Broda, the founder of Broda Coaching, who's also a senior hiring manager, and you'll often find him posting valuable nuggets of wisdom on LinkedIn, said that his preference is not visible to the world. If he's being honest, he only recommends using it in a few instances. And then he asked the question, how often do you see people from the top companies using that frame when they're searching for a job? It's not often. Employment gap bias. The last piece of bias I want to talk about is employment gap bias. If you've had the photo frame up for a long time, people in your network may start to either consciously or subconsciously judge you for that. Fortunately, while there used to be a bigger stigma of unemployment, I believe this has gotten much better because the pandemic did a lot to change that. Adam Posner of NHP Talent Group agrees. He said, in the last 2 years, we've seen so much migration in the workplace that being between jobs is more common than just being unemployed, and the stigma is changing for the better. Recruiters should, and mostly are, more open to hearing the why behind not working versus just dismissing people based on not currently working. Look, I'm not saying that these things are right or good, but this is sometimes how humans act, and it's great to see that things are getting better. My goal is to tell you my opinion, show you the opinions of other smart people, learn from yours out there, and I urge people to think about this information critically and make the best decision for themselves. What other ways can you tell others that you're open to work? Whether or not you choose to use the open to work frame or just to be open to recruiters only, the resounding feedback I've received and known to be true for my clients is that there are so many factors that play into the success of a job search. Here's how to double down and make sure you're in the best position possible whichever way you go. Number 1, optimize your profile first. Your LinkedIn is free real estate for your personal brand.
It's free real estate.
It's SEO optimized based on your keywords you have in your profile, which allow you to show up higher in recruiter searches. Start with your LinkedIn headline where you have 220 characters to use. Be focused on your skills and articulating your value through targeted keywords. Don't say open to work or seeking new opportunities in your headline. It's a waste of space. Make sure your about, your featured, your experience, your endorsements, and settings all reflect the types of roles you're looking for. Fanny Dunagan, employer branding and marketing lead at Delaware, North America, even mentioned that for her, a person's picture matters. The main thing is their photo is professional, looking at the camera, friendly looking, try to smile. I'm not sure why some people choose grumpy looking photos of themselves. You heard Fanny, no grumps. If you need more help with your LinkedIn, I'll include my free LinkedIn settings to optimize cheat sheet and the free LinkedIn headline builder in the description of this video. Number 2, send personalized messages to people you already know. This is my number 1 most recommended strategy when you first start looking for work. Why? Because of personalizing a message to each individual you reach out to can dramatically increase your response rate. Yes, it will take more time to do, but you can put more quality and thought into each message, which people will appreciate. Make a target network list and create messaging that's personalized based on your previous interactions with the person, and tell them exactly how they may be able to help you. Always try to provide value to them when you can. Number 3, publish a targeted post. The generic post LinkedIn provides for those open to work to everyone is not good. It's impersonal and is meant to be a jumping off point, but it misses some critical information. Whether you're open to work to everyone or just recruiters, you can still create a targeted public post. One of my friends and clients, Allie Pruitt, who was not using the photo frame, published a very vulnerable and detailed post about her search for remote work, and within 2 weeks she had 4 opportunities and eventually accepted a fully remote position. When you publish a LinkedIn post, it should have at least these common attributes. 1, a clear role you're looking for. 2, keywords and skills that pertain to the role and the amount of experience you have. 3, a potential industry you want to work in. 4, various achievements and metrics. 5, a call to action to anyone reading it. Think solution focused. Companies are hiring to solve one of their business problems, and to get hired, you have to prove yourself to be the solution. Write as if you're selling yourself, but you're not a prostitute. Or maybe you are, I'm not judging. Finally, be more active on LinkedIn. Follow your target companies, engage with their posts, connect with their employees, always respond to legitimate recruiters when they reach out to you. Even if what they send is not a good fit, try to help them find someone who is and let them know what you're looking for. These actions will help you show up higher in the algorithm when recruiters are searching. If you want more help networking on the platform and somehow you're still watching this and you're also not tired of receiving free amazing guides from me, I'll leave my free LinkedIn networking quick guide in the description as well. Conclusion, should you use open to work on LinkedIn? Well, first and foremost, if you just clicked on this timestamp and fast forwarded through the whole video, you're cheating. I know it's long, but go watch it.
Don't you cheat yourself out of that, all right?
If you've watched this far, thank you. This video took way too long to make. I'm exhausted.
Oh God, I'm so tired.
I hope I've done somewhat of a good job delivering a full scope of information based on the current times to be able to help you make a decision. Ultimately, it's up to you. Do what feels best. But I will say this, when it comes to using LinkedIn open to recruiters, I 100% recommend that with a resounding yes to everyone. I actually consider keeping it on year round, set to casually looking, even if you're happy in your job. Why? The COVID-19 pandemic showed us how fragile the job market is. Layoffs from companies happening constantly show us how unpredictable careers can be. You never know what will happen, but creating the contacts with recruiters all the time, even when you don't need them, is like digging your well before you're thirsty. It's the only way to guarantee you'll stay hydrated. If you're going to use the open to work photo frame public to everyone, there have been plenty of job seekers who have used it successfully. Just please, at least make sure your profile is optimized. Heed some of the cautions I explained earlier in this video. And at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the tool itself as much as how you use it, which is most important. Discourse is how we get better as individuals and communities. So if you like my take, if you hate my take, or you hate me as a person and you wish I died a horrible death, all I ask is that you respectfully leave a comment letting me know your stance below. If you're a job seeker looking for some help, remember I'm including 1 million links to free resources in the description. Like a buffet, go down the line and take what you want. Until next time, keep wandering, you're not lost.